Have you ever heard the incredible story of a prince who became a shepherd, then a prophet who led an entire nation to freedom? This is the story of Moses and the Exodus, one of the most powerful tales ever told. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, where the Israelite people were slaves. A cruel Pharaoh ordered all newborn Israelite boys to be thrown into the Nile River. But one mother, desperate to save her son, placed him in a basket and set it afloat on the river. In a twist of fate, the baby was found by none other than Pharaoh's own daughter. She named him Moses and raised him as a prince of Egypt. Moses grew up in the splendor of the palace, but he never forgot his roots. One day he saw an Egyptian mercilessly beating an Israelite slave. In a moment of rage, Moses killed the Egyptian. Fearing for his life, he fled Egypt and journeyed into the wilderness of Midian. There he became a humble shepherd, married and started a new life, thinking his past was far behind him. But destiny had other plans. While tending his flock on Mount Horeb, Moses saw something extraordinary: a bush that was on fire but was not burning up. As he approached, a voice called out to him from the flames. It was God, who had seen the suffering of the Israelites and had chosen Moses to be their deliverer. God commanded Moses to return to Egypt and demand that Pharaoh let his people go. Hesitant and unsure, Moses, accompanied by his brother Aaron, went before the mighty Pharaoh. They delivered God's message, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hard. He laughed at their request and made the Israelites' lives even more miserable. Pharaoh's refusal set the stage for a divine showdown. To break Pharaoh's stubborn will, God sent a series of 10 devastating plagues upon Egypt. The Nile River turned to blood. Frogs, gnats, and flies swarmed the land. Livestock died, people were covered in boils, and fiery hail rained from the sky. Locusts devoured every green thing, and a thick darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. Yet with each plague, Pharaoh refused to yield. The final plague was the most terrible of all. God warned that the firstborn son in every Egyptian household would die. The Israelites were instructed to mark their doorposts with the blood of a lamb, so that the angel of death would pass over their homes. That night, a great cry echoed through Egypt as Pharaoh's own son and countless others perished. Heartbroken and defeated, Pharaoh finally summoned Moses and told him to take his people and leave. The Israelites wasted no time. They gathered their families and possessions and began their long journey out of Egypt, finally free after centuries of bondage. But their ordeal was far from over. Soon after they left, Pharaoh regretted his decision. He gathered his army, his finest chariots and horsemen, pursued the fleeing Israelites, trapping them against the shores of the vast Red Sea. With the sea before them and Pharaoh's army closing in behind, the Israelites were terrified. They felt hopeless. But Moses raised his staff over the water, and an incredible miracle occurred. A strong east wind blew all night, and the waters of the Red Sea parted, creating a dry path right through the middle of the sea, with walls of water on either side. The Israelites walked across on dry ground to safety. When the Egyptian army tried to follow them, God commanded Moses to stretch out his hand again. The walls of water collapsed, and the Red Sea crashed down upon Pharaoh and his entire army, drowning them all. The threat was gone forever. On the other side, safe and truly free, the Israelites celebrated their miraculous deliverance. Moses' sister Miriam took a tambourine and led the women in a song of praise and victory, singing and dancing to thank God for their freedom. Their journey through the wilderness to the Promised Land had just begun, but they were no longer slaves. They were a free people, led by faith and a promise of a new home. This incredible story of faith, courage, and liberation has inspired people for thousands of years. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there is always hope for a new beginning. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales from history. See you next time.